Hello, everybody, and welcome to Irish Hypnotherapy Conference 2025 in our series of meeting all of the speakers and introducing you to each and every one of them. And today we have Anne Jirsch all the way from London. How are you, Anne?
I am really good. I am spot on. Considering it's been a crazy year, I'm spot on.
Crazy but good, I hope.
A bit of everything, but some major breakthroughs as well. So we'll run with them. Yeah, it's really interesting. Fabulous people coming into my life, which is always the best thing, reaching people.
Brilliant, brilliant. Um, so for those people who are coming to the conference,
Mm.
who is Anne Jirsch? Do you want to give us a bit of background about yourself?
I'll try and give you a potted history because I've been around a long time, John. So this is try and give it. Um, I started off working more with tarot cards. That
Right.
was my thing. And I was always really, really, really fascinated by past life regression. So I thought there was no training. You go back all them years, you couldn't Google stuff. There was no information anywhere. I'd look in yellow pages, couldn't find anybody. And so I went and trained in clinical hypnotherapy in order to write my own scripts and work with past life regression, which I did. But I also loved hypnotherapy. The first I did actually go for hypnotherapy in my teens, and I'd gone for a job, and I've kind of I don't. There's probably a word for it, but it's like I'm dyslexic, but with numbers.
Okay.
I can't get my head around numbers and add up, and I needed to in this job, and you weren't allowed to use a calculator. I mean, I would once the boss was out the way, but for the test they were giving me, I couldn't do it, and I was going into panic mode, and I went to a hypnotherapist, and it was funny because I this is ridiculous. I believed in him because he had a bit of a goatee, so I thought, oh, he's good. He had a little notepad
Yeah.
there. He looked the business, tweed jacket. He looked the business. But you got to remember, this a long time ago, and he didn't even have a proper chair to sit in a proper stripy deck chair. But I walked out there, and I was just I'll never be good with the figures. But I walked out there and the fear had gone, and I thought because a lot of it I would panic.
Yeah.
Once the panic went, you get your head around it all. So that was my first experience of hypnotherapy, and it definitely worked for me. So of course you're more open once you've had an experience and it's changed something. So yeah, I started working with past life regression, writing my own scripts, and I had a big client base by then because you do anything for 20 years, you'll have a good client base.
Mhm.
And I worked with that. And then I started to work with Future Vision, and that come from military guys wanting to find out something from the past. And I got us all three of us to go back, and we didn't. We jumped forward, and we actually
Mhm.
saw the attack on Twin Towers 3 weeks before it happened. And it
Wow.
it was terrifying, traumatic. So we hadn't been able to stop it. But I thought, but we did see that. We saw it before it happened. And so I started to work with still work with the military guys now. They bring their kids up to see me. I still keep in touch with them. They're great guys. And we started to look at world events. And then I thought, let's try this on clients. Um, I started to work with clients and take them forward, and the results were so phenomenal. And for my own life, when I started looking at mine, my life changed dramatically in 3 months because I was tapping into a better future. I was tapping into what I need to know, not just
Okay.
trying to do everything from where I was now. Everything changed. So it gives me great passion to work with people and let them glimpse their future.
Well, isn't that's what every hypnotherapist is actually attempting to do, which is to clear the past so that you can make the most of the future. Whatever that issue is that someone's coming to you
Yeah,
for, whether
yeah.
it's to give them more to, but you're actually, is it beyond visualization? Is that
It's going beyond your current consciousness because
okay?
we are blocked. So even if people are trying to create something better from where they are now. But imagine if you can go beyond that. Put it this way, think of something you're good at now that you weren't, say, 5, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And if you could go back to that past you 5, 10 years ago and go, this is what it's like, this is what it feels like, this is what you're good at, you'd rock it so much sooner. And it's a similar thing. You kind of almost, once you get the energy of that future you who's good at it, who just does it, something in you shifts. You also stop wasting time on, or we waste a lot of time. We all do it. Oh, I'll
Yeah.
go on that course. Oh, I'll read that book. Oh, I'll just watch that. And we get so jumbled. All of a sudden, you know where you're heading and you know what to so you get rid of all the stuff in the way and you focus more. So
So,
you fast track your career.
okay. So it's focus. It is focus.
It's focus, but it's also I've seen things in the future that didn't make any sense, and then they've happened. So we do actually see the future. But
Okay.
years ago, Paul McKenna said it doesn't matter if you have a session with Anne, whether you believe you'll see in the future or not, it will still give you an amazing experience. So,
Right. Okay.
um, and that's the thing. Some people are going to go, well, I can't see the future. Other people go, oh my God, I've seen that house. I'm going to live in it. By the way, I've done that 3 times. Lived in the house I saw. So yeah, it doesn't matter where people come in. It's about fast tracking. We're bombarded with so much information, so many options. That's gonna kill most people's career.
Too much choice.
Too much choice, too many different things. Oh, I better fill my toolbox up. Oh, I better put my running around doing too many different things. Never define. Think of anybody that's very successful. You can tell me what they do in 5 words or less.
Yeah. Yeah.
But ask most people what they do for a living. They'll go, well, I do this. Da, 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 da. We really focus on that future you, that brilliant, brilliant, brilliant
Okay.
future you. And that's what we want to get to. You at your full potential, that's making a huge difference and living your best life. And that's what we get to. So it changed everything for me. I mean, in 3 months, I had this office in Slough and it was in a really rundown area. I mean, Slough's bad enough as it is, and I was in a bad area of Slough. I was nervous about my clients parking their cars outside. In case there's little hoodlum out there, the little sods out there. And I went from that to Bray by the river in 3 months. Everything changed. Massive book deals, international deals, everything changed. So working
How
with
many books
clients.
have you written?
Well, I've written 5, but I've got 6 out. They're in 14 languages, by the way, which I'm very
Right.
pleased about. But what happened was when I
The
wrote,
question is, can you speak all those languages?
no. Well, I'm like English people are lazy and they were learning languages. No, I can't. But yeah, 6 books are out. What happened was when I wrote, and this happens when you work with the future, when I wrote, I think about 10 years ago or more, it did really well back then, particularly in Sri Lanka for some reason, but it did very well. And then the publisher contacted me recently and said, I want to re-release it because it's very happening now. So this happens a lot when you're working with the future. You can be a little bit ahead of yourself.
Okay. All right. I understand.
Yeah.
And you have thought all over the world, haven't you?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I mean, it was wonderful for me because all this opened up as my kids grew up and people would call me up from all over. I mean, it's just been fantastic because I love traveling anyway
Yeah.
and you really get to know people. So I've traveled everywhere. I mean, worked in Japan. Middle East is my biggest market after the UK.
Okay.
I work a lot in the I get on with Middle Eastern people, so that really works for me. Yeah, I've been all over Estonia. I've just been all over. It's been fantastic. But one day I realized I couldn't be everywhere. And so I set up Future Vision training. I teach people to be practitioners, and that really exploded. So that went great.
And is that both in person and online, or is it?
During COVID, because I've got a few people that are trainers and I got them all online.
Hmm.
Managed to get them all together because everyone was locked down they're captured. And I just said, I'm a bit resistant to doing this online. There's something about being in the room with people.
Hmm.
I said, but they're saying 3 weeks. These lockdowns are going to go on a long time. I reckon
Yes.
4 years. And we all knew it, didn't we? We had that instinct. And I said, I'm worried we'll lose something. And funny enough, it's the Irish girl. She's my yardstick because she'll tell you she's not happy. She'll fall. And I said, what do you think? I won't name her, but I just went, what do you think? Feeling a bit nervous because she'll launch at you a bit. And she went, we got to do it online. And the first one I did online, all these people appeared that said, I could never fly to the UK. You don't go to any countries. One from Panama, one from China. I mean, it was just amazing. They'd read my books, got hold of them from wherever, and it worked. I've got the breakout rooms, they're working on each other. It was just great.
That's
I mean, it
brilliant.
was so good. So yeah, so it's been mainly online. I mean, I flew out to Dubai at the beginning of the year to do some work, but it's a lot of it's online now. Yeah.
And obviously, that's a big success for you. So you've been dubbed the Queen of Future Vision.
Yeah, I love that. I Yeah, that was one of the guy called Haran who's in the UK, and I went, I'm going to use that forever now. You've said that. He said it on. He was being interviewed somewhere, and he went, "Of course, Anne's the Queen of Future Vision." I went, "Whoa, thank you." Yeah, and it's kind of spread because he's influential, so it kind of spread from there.
Right, okay. Because your talk in Dublin is entitled Mind Travel into the Future.
Mm,
So that's
mm,
pretty much what you've just been describing to us. Is there a
yes.
process for it, or is
Yeah.
it just, yeah,
Now, a whole range of processes. It's very easy. I really found that the best people I've trained with keep it simple.
right,
They're very straightforward. The best people I've ever trained with, they keep it straightforward and they focus on what they're doing and giving people a great experience rather than getting caught up in too many techniques. So it's very straightforward. I love teaching it. I love seeing the breakthroughs and yeah, I'm really excited to come to Ireland because obviously it's a very favourite place of mine.
well, you did tell me earlier that your grandfather is from my hometown of Cork. So
My
they, that
my wild granddad, my wild, where people would phone me up and go, and guess what your granddad's doing now? Oh God, what pub do I have to get him out of? Or who's he upset? He got barred from all the buses. Outrageous, man. Incredible. 96 he lived to.
wow,
96. Yeah,
wow.
96.
Yeah, Cork people have a reputation for being trouble. And sorry to any other Cork person who's listening to that, but yeah, I can say it because I'm from there.
I tell you what, I've said what's in the water because you had loads of brothers and sisters. You had big families back then, and they were all had his eccentricities. So all eccentric, and yeah, he certainly was.
Right. So this talk, Anne, is it for therapists themselves to use on themselves or to use with clients or both?
I could give them, yeah, what I'd like to do, if it's okay, is take people on a journey because one of the things hypnotherapists have is learning too much stuff, not defining. I'd like to take them to see a really, really good future where they've applied themselves the best. Where are you? What you're doing in 5 years? If you've really nailed it, you've gone for what's right for you, what you're doing, what's your future success, and create a big anchor. Anchors are so important with this work. Creating a really strong anchor, bringing it back to now. Teach them how they can recreate that every day, so that as soon as they wake up, they're in that mindset of their future self. Really make some amazing stuff happen. But yeah, I'll give them some pointers of how to work with it. But really, they should come and train with me, John. But I will give them some pointers.
No, absolutely. The and say some of the clients, could you just give maybe just one example? You don't name anybody, but of somebody who's been off into that and done that and the outcomes that they've had for themselves.
Yeah, well, I did work with one of the big names in hypnotherapy, but I won't name them. But they saw themselves in America, living up in this great big house and having a TV show. And I've got no plans to go back to America. I went there 20 years ago. I've got no plans. And I was cheeky and said, "What am I doing at that point?" He went, "Oh, you're doing really well. You got a major book deal," which, not being funny, I couldn't read and write properly when I left school.
Mm.
People from my background don't get book deals, let alone big book deals. But I did. And within weeks, he was contacted by the biggest man in television in America and said, when you're out here, let's discuss a show. So, of course, what do? You go, "Oh, I plan on being there in a couple of weeks." I mean, you won't, but you're going to, and you. So he flew out and was off this show. And in the session, he described the house that he bought in the Hollywood Hills. And when he went to view it, it was exactly
Yes,
that. It was exactly the house how he described it. I went and stayed there with him. I mean, it was just phenomenal. So the detail. So very often people see themselves, why would I be living there? Why must he? Then they end up stumbling upon, I mean, one of my clients stumbled upon a place in Italy that she'd seen in a session and there was the house I saw her living in. And somebody come up to her and went, that house is for sale, you know. She went, oh, we have that, seeing their future partner. That's been phenomenal. I mean, to take them forward and they see who they're married to, and then they meet the person. That's been, and I have a little rule with this though, John. If they see this in a session, they got to invite me to the wedding.
No, I think that's only fair. I think that's only fair.
But it's career. Career is the one I really like using it for. I just think it's not easy these days. I think to really know where you're heading. People are working very, very hard, but there's some very talented people out there, especially in hypnotherapy, super talented, doing a great job, but they're not getting as big as they should or where they should. And I really like, let's really nail you. Let's really nail your future. Find out what that, once you can feel it, it changes a lot of things. Really nail that future for yourself, and let's find your future success. Otherwise, 5 years' time, you don't want to be still doing what you're doing.
Doing the same thing, absolutely, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, we get so bogged down in the detail that we never take that time to look ahead of ourselves and see.
Yeah, yeah,
and of course, everything's feeling, isn't it? Everything's feeling. It's what guides us forward. It's what
absolutely the picture in your head. What you get the picture in your head, you get the feeling. Funny enough, one thing I will say for anybody that tries anything like this, there's been a lot of research into stance. So if you stand how your future self stands, that actually creates a quick reaction, but also from other people. It's a good one. You other people start to see you in a bit of a different light if you stand out. So I get people to feel, how does your future self stand? You see yourself on stage or book signing or whatever you're doing. And what is the stance? That actually can make a immediate quick change in people.
Yeah, I mean, you feel different yourself, and people notice that difference in you. I mean,
Yeah.
I think we'd use that with our physiology changes, our psychology. You change the way people, the state of someone in a moment. But yeah, I mean, the difference between your shoulders down and your head up, and how people treat you versus that way where your head is up and you're smiling.
Yeah,
people will treat you differently, of course.
Yeah, immediately do. Yeah, there's something in us where we're sending off these messages. And so, once I started working with this and seeing my future, the phone started ringing, big names started to call me up. And, that didn't happen before. There was these big shifts. And then, as I say, big book deal. And then from the book deal, got invited to a lot of things, a lot of media, and everything just took off. And so if I can work with somebody and just create a bit of a shift, oh, so good.
Well, I'm going to have to be in the front row for that one. You know that. So you're going to be in Dublin on the 5th and 6th of April, 2025. It is 25, isn't it? Yeah, Jesus. And I can't wait to see you there.
I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be super exciting. And I really work on, when I do something, I really work on it. So I like to show up with something really good for people. So yeah, I'm super excited to share that.
And I'm delighted that you're going to be taking people through that journey, because that, for me, as we were talking about, is just, that's what these conferences are about. It's my way of learning, and I love to see when presenters will do that. So
I can't wait for that, because yeah, it's really lovely to take people and just not just talk about it. They don't want to listen to me waffling on for an hour. Just to actually experience something. And they might think, yeah, this isn't for me, or they might think I like this, whatever it is. But yeah, it's really nice to take people through a process.
Well, I'm really looking forward to it.
Me too.
And thank you.
You're welcome.
And to everyone else, www.irishhypnotherapyconference.ie, 5th and 6th of April 2025, and 29 other speakers all over that 2 days. It's going to be a wonderful weekend, and we will see you all then. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, wish you a wonderful rest of the day, and see you in April.